What's up, everyone? This is the Godfather Dictator,
And Sarah from 17.
and welcome back to Chapter 6 of my Master Ninja No Damage run. That was all intended, by the way. That fell at the beginning, missing that pillar. All planned.
Pure skill.
But you know what? I'm happy to see that at the beginning of this chapter.
The ghost fish.
No, the dragon dying in the water from the previous chapter. But I'm gonna say this though. What's your take on this? I think it's one of the best chapter beginning in a way that it's one of the easiest. I feel
It's a moment of calm where you get to navigate and actually enjoy the game for once.
like it's fun actually. It's a nice change of pace. If you're wondering why I'm using this here, if I would go for the lunar with the 360 move, I would fall right down in the water again. So
Yeah.
I changed to the flail. I was like,
How did you feel about this platforming?
not too bad, I guess. Not too bad. And after rewatching, I don't know. Have you seen that part, or you were not there during that part?
I did not see this.
Okay, but
no, this is all
I
new.
used that shortcut that other guy show here. I like
Oh,
that
when
one.
you jump and you fly and swallow.
Yeah, Nimbo. Nimbo. What I mean,
Jump,
no,
shuriken, flying
shuriken,
swallow.
and then forward flying swallow. I like this.
It's nice to show things like that.
I'm leaving the chest behind. What's in it? It's Nimbo. It's gonna come back later.
Ooh.
And
at
actually, the only reason why I ended up doing the Nimpo is because I got a Nimpo drop.
That was pretty clutch, that, to use the dragon sword like that to stop them from biting you.
Ooh, I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of luck because I totally
Yeah.
improvised on the moment, and there's some
He got
time.
really close, too.
Exactly. There's sometimes in this game compared to NGB, the fish can somehow, infiltrate themselves and grab you even if you're in the middle of a combo. So you got to be really careful for that. And now, if you're wondering why the hell are you doing that section, you made it past a checkpoint, and you're going to that section. So why am I doing that? It's for the following reason. We know that there's going to be a really annoying gauntlet after here, and it's actually one of the most annoying gauntlet in this game so far. No joke. That bone boss, it's one of the worst in my opinion. So what I told myself is I might as well go. What are these enemy called? I always forget what they're called.
These are the red gargers.
Okay, so
Or as I like to call them, boobs.
boobs. So there you go. So I thought, hey, I'm gonna go fight these guys straight up. Use a little bit of Nimpo there. I know I have a chest back there, so I can go back to it. And surprisingly enough, with all of this, I ended up using one Nimpo. So again, handicapping myself. It goes back to what you were saying in one of the previous chapter, where if I can avoid using Nimpo too much, I will. Even if I could have, technically, because the point of leaving chests with four Nimpo in it, the Nimpo essence is to be able to use them. But here, I haven't fully used them to my advantage, I guess.
I'm not going to lie, every time you run past that save point, it does trigger me. But I believe in you.
Yes, but there's no more enemy now. It's just, we're just going to refill
matter.
on the boat.
It literally doesn't matter, still triggered.
I should have saved back then. So, okay, grabbing those essence, you see a lot more than what I've used. And I would actually recommend if someone would not save at the first checkpoint and go for the red gajas or red boob, to use all your Nimpo during the fight. Okay, use
Well,
all.
you've
your
got a free
true-
refill, so it makes sense.
Yes, exactly.
It's big picture thinking. If you know that there's a refill coming up, use your resources.
So now we're we're coming up to one of the most amazing section of that game. I don't know what they were thinking with those gauntlet in a row.
I don't really understand any of the thinking from this part onwards.
And so here, gonna use the regular ultimate technique from the Lunar. The last hit of this will basically kill those guys at least in one hit. Even though I did say they should die from the initial connecting.
It makes you wonder why they're even here. Because UTs against the boss are almost a terrible idea because they don't do great damage. I don't know if they're good at knocking him down. It's been a while. So you can't use them as a resource to just spam UTs because it's not as viable as you'd think it would be. And then that's not mentioning that the biggest danger in this fight coming up is getting stuck with them all around you and not being able to move.
Yes, it goes back to what you were saying. Is you think that when you get back in this fight, that you have those enemies that are around that are not popcorn but still die pretty fast. Gives you a lot of essence, which makes you think, hey, it's going to be good to chain against the boss. The problem is you don't know until you do some testing, I guess. And when you're hitting with the UT, it's actually not bad to knock him out. Usually it will take about 4 or 5 ultimate technique for him to go down. But the problem with this is that after, if you go, for example, with another UT once it's down, you're thinking in your head, I'm going to do more damage, But no, because that boss takes more damage from his head. So you have to hit higher than what you can reach with any number of ultimate technique,
Yeah, it's a confusing one, to be sure.
And after this, you do that boss, which by the way is terrible. Okay, it's really hard to do. He has a lightning fast grab. After this, you get to fight more Gajas with more of the scorpion in very narrow pathway, which is one of the worst fucking thing I've ever seen in that game. It's actually,
what were they thinking?
I don't know.
It has to be an homage to the Bone Dragon, because how many people beat Bone Dragon in NG and then they died afterwards and had to fight him again?
Nobody.
That has to be what it is, right?
Yes.
I will never forget going back a whole chapter after dying and having to redo a boss. That's Ninja Gaiden personified for me.
Yeah.
And this is a good example of it, and there's a few other instances in this game that do it as well, and I will never understand the reasoning behind it because I just don't think it leads to fun design.
It does not. This boss with a checkpoint after, perfect. No complaint from me. But
I'd get plenty of complaints because I still think this is a shit boss.
Oh, it's still a shit boss, but it would make it bearable in the way that you fight him.
Yeah, it'd make it immediately better. There's no two words about it. But the stress that you feel after this because of the checkpoint situation,
it's terrible.
It's unnecessary too. It could have been avoided.
Yeah.
And you did this whole thing with the Luna? Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I ended up committing with the Lunar. I was not able to do the chain with the flail. Or the claws, I'm sorry, was the claws. I was not able to do it with the claws. Like that combo I did on Alexei. I could not do it consistently here, so I resorted to using...
dual sword action, finally.
Yes. Dual sword action here because they're actually very good against those guys. And
dual swords are incredibly powerful.
And against the wolf here, that was totally an accident. I did not plan to fall down. And you want to know what's the funniest thing though is that I was like, fuck, I hope it did not despawn those guys, I want to fight them. And surprisingly enough, no, that one will still be on top, which is actually dangerous because now I gotta go there and I gotta fight that one. So I was actually scared at the moment. And there, maybe it's still alive down there.
Maybe one day you'll go back for
Maybe it's still alive down there, but who the fuck cares? I'm not going down there to deal him that guy. Risk getting hit after that annoying gauntlet,
We'll just agree that he bled to death.
Yeah, he bled to death. He took, he died from the fall damage down there. That's what.
She died doing what she loved, being a cunt.
Yeah, and pretty much that's what all the enemies in this game are.
Yes.
And here, I don't know, I feel like I was pretty unlucky where the dual sword a lot of time is going to target 2 enemies. And here, I could not get double enemies kill on that one. It was kind of odd. And then this section, again, I don't know what they were thinking with that. You see how...
They weren't thinking.
How small it is?
They were all drunk doing karaoke. That's what it was.
It's like really frustrating. And then we get more red Gajas in here, thinking, hey, I'm in that narrow pathway. We're gonna use the 360 attack. Interesting thing to know about this part here is if you actually backtrack and you come back, the bones will respawn. So.
Oh really?
Yes. So that's something that's kind of good to know. If you go back far enough, and you come back
So
and
you can farm essence here feasibly, not that you ever would.
unless they spawn for a limited amount of time, which is possible. I haven't tested it out because, like, when you're done with that boss, you know, testing out that stuff is something you don't want to do. Like, you're not.
I don't even want to do what you're doing right now.
Yeah,
Like, I would do all of this with the bow from 9 years away.
Well, that's what I do though for a certain part. Like, if also you don't know straight up, when you jump here, it can be extremely scary because if you don't start charging as soon as you land,
they spawn immediately, don't they?
They spawn immediately and they get pretty damn close. And you're gonna see one time, I call it later on. You're gonna notice where I didn't know that there would be more that spawn later on, and I really got, you know, they took me by surprise, and I almost took damage at the end of that segment, and that would have been really frustrating because, surprising enough, I actually managed to get that gauntlet. Like, once I got the boss, no damage, you know, I did that my first go.
Well, that's good then, because this is a disgusting segment.
It is. So that's why I was really nervous at that point. I'm thinking, is there more? Then I'm moving. Then we hear more. All right.
I can't even begin to understand why anybody would want to design this like this.
So
there's a hero in the comments telling us why this section is fun, but I fervently disagree with him.
And here, that's where I'm thinking, oh my God, there's more here. You know, look, the panic. That's the panic here.
Whew.
Very close, because I didn't think there was more. I thought it was done here. And if
Ninja Gaiden 2, there's always more.
Right? And if I did my UT a little earlier, I would have got grabbed actually by this last fucking Spider-Man.
But you did it.
But we
You
did
get
it.
a nice fleetingly blue sky before it turns dogshit brown, thanks to the Lord of Storms, or whatever he's called.
Right? It's all them changing the climate outside.
I really like it when it looks like this. But it's too optimistic for Ninja Gaiden. They need to make it Battleship Brown.
And that weapon right now, I'm upgrading it. Not going to use it that much at this point, but later on, we're going to get to have more fun with that weapon.
You use it with Genshin, right?
Yes. And I'm pretty much going to use it with the majority of the Genshin fight that I can, because I personally feel it's more reliable than the claws. That's just my opinion on it, though.
Here come the lycanthropes.
Yes. These guys very dangerous on Master Ninja. They deal massive damage. That's one good thing, though, when doing a no damage run. I'm not going for the save, you see. I launched that section, and I'm actually going to do a little bit of a gauntlet here. There's some times where when I feel, I guess, more confident about doing a certain amount of fight in the row, I will go for it. And
I feel like outside of the corpse toss that these guys like to do, I think they are an enemy that you can feel confident against, because they're dangerous, but they're also vulnerable.
They are. Well, that.
And this is where the dual swords really shine as well. They're great against these guys.
They are awesome. And here we got some gajas again. So this is, I think this is the way right now. I'm not sure if I go, we'll say a little higher and fight more. I might. Oh, it's. Am I doing
There's some
it?
flyers up here as well.
Yes, but I mean, there's another wave before though the flyer starts. So I think that's what I'm doing right now. I'm triggering those guys here.
That was a ballsy UT or ET.
Yeah, ET. It was actually.
Because the Garges attack so fast and they do so much damage.
It
That
is
little poke they do, that like thrust.
almost kill you instantly.
It's really good at catching your rolls, catching your dodges.
I don't understand here how we could not aim on that guy. It's like it totally ignored him for some reason. So that was the gauntlet. Now I know that next section we have more gajas, we have flying enemies that spawn. So I'm keeping like those sections separate because I know they're harder. And here it would be kind of too long to do the first fight, open the door, second fight, then go back down the stairs, you know, trigger the first 3 gajas, then more, a little higher. In my opinion, it was better done in a single gauntlet like this. It looked prettier, take less time, and yeah, overall I feel...
wish these lanterns were a different color. Something a bit more fantastical, because this is a dirty brown looking level, isn't it?
Yes.
Architecturally, it's probably quite nice, but it just looks so goddamn Xbox 360.
Yeah, I don't know, what color would you give those lanterns?
Well, you know how in Sigma 2 they turned all the blood into that crazy purple, like, phantasm?
Yeah.
I think
Purple?
something like that, you know, some kind of shocking, striking colour that could have given it an almost supernatural edge, and it would have contrasted with all the stone. And it could have been any colour, really. Just something a bit more vibrant to make it pop a little bit, give it a bit more of a hue. But as it stands, it's just... They turned a rather beautiful Venetian-inspired level into someone's colon, didn't they?
Diarrhea, yeah. Diarrhea sky, basically. But
Pretty much. And don't get me wrong, I assume, you know, it's very ominous and it's omnipotent and it's dangerous and it conveys the severity of what's happening and the power of Volf. But does anybody really like to spend time in Satan's colon? Like, look at the Devil May Cry games. Every time you go to hell, it looks like boiled anus, and no one likes it. And we always wonder why we go there. Like, we understand thematically why we're there, but couldn't you make it be interesting?
Yes, the color on the lantern would have been quite simple to add something that stands out more and would have, I don't know, give maybe a little more to the game, actually. It's true that
Yeah,
the color right now, the color palette of this is really blend. That's what it is.
Definitely. And this is a pretty game too, and even more so for its time.
It was amazing. Like, the graphic look amazing for this game, including
But that's
black.
what Ninja Gaiden is, isn't
Yeah.
it? They are so good at making these games that have aged so well with this technology.
So you see here, the logic is that every time I kill one flyer, one of these guys appear.
It spawns a Gaja.
Sometimes you're even thinking, is there going to be one? You're not entirely sure always. Like there, it took a little longer before it reached me. But
Yeah.
I think almost until the end, there's always going to be a Gajas. Yeah, there we go. I mean, and that's another section, by the way. That entire early section here, all those fights that I did in that other no damage run, that's all skipped.
Can you imagine if you could intercept the fireballs back at the flyers?
And throw the back at them.
Yeah, that would be so sick.
Same with the IS at this point.
Same with everything. I love that idea. Neo has it as well. Well-timed guards reflect arrows.
Yeah, that's really nice, actually. Some
Such a cool mechanic.
little mechanic that makes the game much more better.
Hey, look at these douches. They get full immunity to just fly around firing garbage.
Yes, and now I'm thinking, you know what? We're going close in, man. Fuck you, dude.
Yeah, I would have skipped this. There's no two words about it.
I know, man. I know. Come in, and we're trying to do, that full thing. But at this point, though, I think the Gajas, you see, they stop spawning. So.
Do you know one good thing about Ninja Gaiden 3?
Yeah, what?
When Ryu has a bow, it minimizes into a compact version of itself on his back, and it doesn't really take over his character model. Whereas in this game, does the bow ever bug you when it's on Ryu's back? 'Cause I feel like he looks so much cooler when it's not there.
Yeah, I agree. But if you don't have it equipped, it's not there though, or it's always there and I don't notice
Yeah, but
it.
you almost always need the bow in this game, don't you? That's the problem. It's one of the big advantages.
Well, a lot of time, but unless if you need like quick movement jump, you're gonna switch up to the
Yeah, you put the shurikens on, obviously, but every time I put it on, I notice it. It's one of those things where it would be really nice if there was an option in the menu, like in Mass Effect, where you can turn the helmets off, or turn them on, depending on if you want to see them blocking your character's face.
Okay, you can do that. Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, I just think it's a nice option for cosmetics.
Yeah, for the visual effect of the character. It's true that the bow right now that you mentioned it looks.
Doesn't it stand out?
Quite huge on his back.
Yeah,
I never
like
paid
the
attention.
moment you notice it,
it's
you can't stop seeing it.
Yeah, you're in the middle of I'm in the middle of the gameplay here. I'm doing no damage, so I'm like literally never paying attention.
You've probably never looked at Ryu's back because you're too busy watching the enemies.
Yeah.
But when you watch it back, you see so much detail that you miss when you're playing.
It is guaranteed because I cannot pay attention to that type of stuff. And here you see that's one of those cases where I actually shoot the bow thinking that I add shuriken, and you see me quickly change back to the
It is interesting. When you panic, you go back to your NGB roots, don't you, of Luna?
Yes.
You have safety with the Luna.
Yes, because well,
Never seen that.
the the iframe of the ultimate technique is great. You know, you can push a little bit ahead and go further from the enemy. Have a safe charge. You know, it's and you know that even if it doesn't connect, at least you're not just gonna whiff and put you in a shit state.
Yeah, it's one of the only UTs in the game that completes itself regardless of connection. That's what makes it so strong.
Yeah, that's why I love it. Now, here I'm gonna tell you something because you missed that part, and actually everyone missed that part. I haven't done this part on stream, and I'll tell you what was really annoying. By the way, I found that spot, like that random spot here.
Look at that texture, my father.
I found.
Did you see that texture?
Yes. Amazing,
Why?
right?
Why does that texture exist?
So I found that spot, by the way, by playing around a little bit. I actually thought that it was pretty much ingenious because I've never seen actually anyone use that spot here. But the problem with this is, I'll tell you when we get there after, but is that if I would do the next section with the wolf and all of that, and then come back, you know that next section where you're jumping over
the flagpoles.
Yes, and you're
and you land in the chapel with the Gargers, yeah.
Yes, what is called the windows that you have there?
Those stained glass windows.
Those stained glass windows like that they have in church. Well, basically, if I would have gone there and break it one time.
You just got CS good.
Right? Totally missed it. So if I was there and would go inside the church one time and it would load back to the previous checkpoint, that window had permanently disappeared.
Okay.
So what I had to do, because if not, it would look weird, you know, like everyone knows that when you get to that point, there's a fucking window that you need to break. And the worst thing is that if you get there one time, you die from the gajahs, you have to start at the same point. You get there, it disappeared, it's not there, it's just an empty hole. But when you jump over it, it does destroy again. So it's like really odd. It disappeared in the game, but it's like the effect of the glass breaking, it's still there.
So did you match cut it?
No, actually, no. What I did is I just redid it from a previous checkpoint. The first time around I did that fight here, okay, with the wolf fight straight after, and then I went to save. But then, as I came to to the checkpoint, if I fell, I realized that the window was not there, and I was like, no, that's a big no.
Yeah.
I want people to be able to see it, So I basically, that checkpoint right now I'm doing is me redoing that entire checkpoint because of that. Because if not, once I kill those wolf here, I go save. But in that case, I just commit and do the entire gauntlet, which also end up, being more impressive too. So it was a plus in the end. Longer gauntlet, no choice because of the visual effect of the game. So harder for me, more impressive for you guys to watch. I almost got hit here.
That was lucky.
That was actually really close. I did not expect them to spawn and straight up jump on me.
This enemy is merciless at times, and then at other times they're absolute clowns.
Like this
Very
here.
hit and miss.
Was just standing back, not doing much,
Yeah, they do like to watch. They're very voyeuristic.
And other time they will just jump on you and throw everything at you. So that glass here, I would get here, it would not be there, So I thought it was unacceptable. I'm like, no, I need people to be able to see that stained glass window is there. And that when I'm jumping through it, it's not an empty hole that gives me the effect for it after.
This is a difficult fight as well.
It is actually. And not only that, it's because we're still not done. We have more, after this. So overall, it's pretty difficult gauntlet, I feel. Really not easy. Good thing though that in that case, I feel like the ultimate technique and all were connecting pretty well. So
that's what you want as well, because the dual swords will destroy if they connect right.
Yes. They also have a good D-limb on the last hit, which is kind of nice. So even if I, for example, don't kill the last guy, if it hits, often I will go and D-limb. Like in that case, this one was ready to D-limb. And I think
wow. I remember that fight being so much longer. Is there another spawn?
There's one hiding behind here.
Oh, there he is.
Yes.
Yeah, that was dude. That was so much quicker than I remember that fight being. You're obviously just a god.
But no, it went extremely well, because if not, that fight is really long, exactly like you remember. Actually, that's the thing. And right now, why this whole thing is scary is because you got that fight that's hard, but it's still not done right now. You know. And
yeah, doesn't it bust through the door when you drop down? You're in a kitchen, and it's I remember this.
So so that's not fun. Another thing that's hilarious here is that I never jumped on the table, and there I jumped on the table by accident when going for a UT.
They have an interesting relationship with this table.
And it's interesting. I wasn't sure if he was going to jump on the table or not. And when I
well, they used to not be able to do that. I think they patched them in to give them the ability to get on the tables. But then what happened was they have trouble getting off. So you can make it so that they get on the table.
You
but
missed
they don't
that
know what
section,
to do.
by the way, here, right? You didn't see this one, right?
I saw a little bit of this, but not all of it.
Okay. Well,
are you going to be attacking furniture by any chance? Because the lock-on with the furniture is a pain in the ass.
But you're gonna see the amount of enemy. I think you're gonna like the amount of enemy.
Are you going to carry them all back into the tiny corridor?
You'll see.
Look at the frames. Oh no, I thought you were going to take every fight back to that tiny corridor near the save point and bang them all in there.
No. I'm staying in that hallway right here, but you gotta see. It's really crazy.
This is so cinematic right now. It's almost like we're playing the Scarlet at 12K.
How many frames is that? 60? Stable?
Clearly, dude. I'll say it's not a doso.
There you go. Chris, did you see what I'm talking about? I am at the chair.
That chair, that's the one.
Right.
You turn your back, he'll get you that one. Oh, the Guardian was taunting. He just went for the sofa then, didn't he? What a beast.
Yes.
This video. Why would they prioritize furniture?
I don't know, man. That's the weirdest
God,
thing.
look how many enemies there is too. There's no excuse.
That's the problem. Is that you would think with the amount of enemy that there is here, that they would, easily prioritize the enemy and not the furniture around. And
yeah, if the grassy knoll had that kind of mechanics, blooming JFK would still be alive.
Example of me thinking that both of the essence would be there, and I ended up with a ET instead of a UT. That goes back to the same problem that I mentioned.
See the iframes then after you recover from the UT? That Guardian just sliced directly through you. You were fine.
Yeah. Maybe it's odd how sometimes it works and how other it doesn't, and I feel like it's probably very situational. Probably we'll say if I had done the UT 0.1 second after, he would probably.
See, that's what would be great about a PC version, other than it would just be amazing, and I don't know why it never happened. But we'd probably be able to get a mod or some kind of adjustment to the game where it can make your character glow when you're in iframes, so you can see them. You can see when you're invincible.
Yeah,
see when the enemies are invincible. Know exactly when they end their iframes and learn so much.
Like a little bit of visual cue that gives you.
Anything. It could be the simplest thing to just give us an idea. When are we vulnerable? What should we be doing?
Actually,
when are they
really
vulnerable? When can we punish? There'd be so many cool mods.
And did you see here? That's the scary part of that old Gauntlet that I just did here. I mixed the fight in a row, but then I commit to that fight.
Taking on the IS Ninjas 2.
And I'm not gonna lie, I must have felt like that fight at least 5 times after that old Gauntlet.
This is where IS Ninjas start turning up a lot more though, isn't it? 'Cause you've had a while without them, and then this is when they reintroduce themselves, and there's lots of them.
Yes, there is. Luckily enough though, I feel those section have a lot of close wall together. Which,
yeah, they do.
Which makes it good.
You also have a much better arsenal than you did back in maybe
Yes.
Chapter 1 and 2.
yeah,
that's so much more capable now.
Yeah. It's definitely better.
I do like this chapter, minus it looking like dog poo.
No, it's a fun chapter. I had good fun. I think the fight and all overall are pretty decent. You got Wolf at the end. Actually,
another questionable checkpoint though.
Yes. With you mean with the bridge fight and all?
Well, I mean with Wolf himself. Wolf is a great boss.
With the fight
and then
after
you have to fight a million wolves on no checkpoint, and it's just completely stupid.
Yeah.
You can't enjoy Wolf then because because you have to repeatedly kill him if you mess up.
Yeah. Hopefully, though, it happened to me once that I got Wolf and then I failed the other checkpoint.
Because that was one of the biggest problems I had with a game called Sekiro, the hardest game ever made. That game makes Ninja Gaiden 2 look like an easy piece of cake, obviously. But there was a final boss in that game, and I'm not going to spoil it, but there is a boss you fight before the final boss in a gauntlet.
Okay.
And to get to the final boss, you have to fight a boss. And all that it does is make you hate the gatekeeping boss. And the worst part is, that boss who's at the beginning is a cool boss. But you hate him because you have to kill him so much.
Oh, that's fucking annoying. That's a really ingenious design there when they do that. You know, force you
so dumb
to fight after bosses. Like, it's just silly. It's what I call fake difficulty. And here you see, if you're wondering like why I took the chance, it was for an impo. See, I refilled my nimpo. One nimpo. I'm willing to take a risk of being a ghost fish chess. If
ghost fished.
Yeah, right? Being ghost fished. I'm willing to take the risk of that if it gives me a red essence. But that will be the only occasion. And you see here, well,
I love that spawn. It's so dumb.
That was like...
It reminds me of West Side Story.
The perfect one, right?
Yeah.
Except without the musical.
Just cruise up. It's like, there's your cue, boys. Go and position yourself. It's so silly. Like the two gangs facing off, start dancing and singing.
Yeah, in sync.
Quality. Ooh, that key looked nice.
Yeah. The golden key. So actually, here is another annoying part because you have to do that fight, and then you have to fight those guys in here that are definitely a lot tougher than their counterpart version. I mean, we've seen them a couple of times, but not fight them in this many. Yeah. And do you see how sometimes, like, they're go
like
idle for it's really odd. Another time, like you see now they started being proactive and they're throwing bodies at me.
A body, yeah.
And
off-camera body throw.
The weirdest thing too is that how the hell did they throw that many bodies? They didn't kill just one. And
well, that's the point, isn't it? They pull the bodies out their ass. It's annoying.
Yes, like after you kill one, it's like they magically have access to throwing you the bodies of enemies that should not exist anymore.
It's silly. They should have to literally throw the bodies that are available.
Yes.
They should all be running to see who can pick it up.
And after that, what do you think about the body like getting destroyed after one throw?
Yeah, one throw should shatter the body. This game is designed around this concept of when the enemy is idle and not actively attacking Ryu, it will spam shit. It will throw stuff passively aggressively from a distance before closing distance, and there's no excuse to be bombarded from off screen from anything. Yeah. I don't think enemies should be able to do that. I think that's a principle of action games that the Devil May Cry games mastered. And does it make them easier games? Definitely. But are they more enjoyable and fairer? Yes, they are.
Yes. Definitely.
Because Metal Gear Rising does the same thing. You can turn the camera in Metal Gear Rising, but nobody got the memo, so they'll just shit on your back.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's true. That's one thing.
You always notice it as well. When enemies can attack from off screen, you always notice it because it's rough. You got to adjust.
Yeah. It's very well. It's because you got to be aware at every single time, and that's why in certain of these games, even if it will not always work, but keeping like a constant movement will help a lot of time.
Yeah, definitely. Mobility has always been key, hasn't it, in Ninja Gaiden?
Yes, it is. It's a huge factor, and it's funny because now that you mentioned that, one thing that I recommend people watching that is actually really important, even if before they would start playing Ninja Gaiden Black. By the way, that was a long gauntlet here. I feel.
Yeah, it was.
It was a hard one. I was sweating my ass at the end here at this part. So one video that I actually recommend watching that I feel is very good is the JTB movement tutorial for NGB. Even if it's not the same as the movement in here, because obviously both games have a different movement, it
still translates though, doesn't it?
It does. There's a good part of it that does. And here I'm not skipping the fight. I just wanted to actually combine those two Gajas fight instead of fighting them separately, especially when I know like there's a certain amount of them that's a fixed amount. I'm just definitely gonna fight them all together instead of fighting them three at a time and then triggering the next checkpoint. And also, if I recall, I'm going up because that fight on the bridge is a pretty annoying fight. It's one of the worst fights.
It's a really bad one.
It's bad. So if I recall, I'm gonna save before that fight on the bridge, after that fight here, and then I'm gonna save also after completing the fight on the bridge. Why? It goes back to the same thing on the chapter with Alexei, where I say I'm doing one fight and I'm saving before the boss. Even if I could go to the boss and technically it re-checkpoint you at the, and that was a really risky counter. I don't even know why I did that. That was really stupid, especially in the end fight like this. I don't know. Don't ask me why I did that.
Is that something that's come from your days of playing Black?
Maybe, because in Black, it's much less dangerous to miss a counterattack, because he's not gonna do that forward movement that if you don't time it good, you get hit in this one. You know how he does that weird kind of, not a dash, but he pulls his body in front of him when you press too early and you whiff. So that's why it may be from the day of NGB where I'm instinctively doing it, but I feel I don't realize how I put myself in really dangerous situation in that specific game. But that's another thing that makes it more awesome in the long run, because I do those random counterattack even at the end of certain fight where you would say like, what the hell is that guy doing counterattack there? But it makes it that much more entertaining, I guess, because it's the danger of what's happening, you know. And here again, nothing to say about this. That fight is fucking cancer. I end up using Nimpo. Why? Because near the checkpoint, and it also gave me a reason to go back, there's a chest with more Nimpo. So I kept it there. Some people might have used it earlier. I don't know if you remember where that chest is. You'll see when I get back. But me, I thought that it was the best spot to use it, because I feel like that fight is cancer, and I didn't want to waste some shroom or anything. So I thought to myself, I'm gonna use 3 Nimpo, and then I'm gonna go back to safe and refill those Nimpo. And if you don't remember where it is, you will see. So it's quite useful for that fight. And did you see here that I actually jumped over one of the projectile?
Yeah, over the fireball.
That was really movie like. It was really cool. So
I want to see the design document for this.
I want
to understand the minds that think that this is fun.
Oh my god. Well, first of all, is who designed that enemy? You know, who's the person?
Because the enemy itself looks okay, I guess. It's just the way they've utilized them is never fun.
Should die in one arrow.
It should die in one anything. You should stare at it long and it dies.
Falls down randomly. And then I get to that point where I'm out of incendiary shuriken, so, well, we have no choice but to resort to the bow. But at this point is the thing, though. They're almost all done, you see, so we were...
Like, who sat watching this thinking, that's the bit I can't wait to play?
Nobody. And if someone does, you have to explain to me that, like, almost as a novel type of text in the comments. You're gonna have to explain to me.
Because I always wonder when I'm playing games, like, who is this part for? Who wants to focus on this particular segment? Because you see those stories, don't you? Those crazy stories where that guy on Kingdom Hearts got to level 100 on Destiny Island, like smacking coconuts or something. And that person on Final Fantasy VII who got to level 100 in the reactor at the beginning of the game, and it took him like 6 months.
My God.
Like, who the hell wants to do that? And yet they did it because that's just what the internet is today. But like, there are parts of games where you wonder, don't you, who does these kind of things? Who are they for? Where's the audience for this? Because I always often find myself lacking.
It must be like the 0.0001% of the gamer, you know, that would say...
Because you know Itagaki's not playing this game anymore.
Yeah.
So it's not for him.
Nah.
So who the hell is it for?
I have no fucking clue.
Is it for the guy who misses Panzer Dragoon and wishes they'd make a new one, which they are, which is awesome. But like, I don't get it.
Okay, so now, and I'm really proud of that fight. That fight, I'm gonna let you watch it, but I think it could have been much better.
Oh, interesting. Do you keep him in the full loop?
Yes.
Yeah. For some reason, you can get a real good pattern on Wolf with a couple of different techniques where he just cannot react unless the game lets him, and then of course you'll lose the loop. But you can do this with forward Y with the dual swords.
Oh yeah, okay, I did not know that.
You can do it with so many different weapons. He's so susceptible to getting just romped like that. That's why I like that boss, because he's dangerous, but he's vulnerable.
Yes, but that's one of the best boss design, I mean, in that game, in my opinion, because the majority of his pattern, I feel, are kind of fair, to the most.
Yeah. Did you notice that he also seems to have the least amount of iframes in a lot of the stuff that he does?
Yes.
Because some of the other bosses, you just can't hurt them, but with Wolf, you always seemingly can hurt him, and I love that.
Yes, it is. And he has quite a generous hitbox too.
Yeah. And it's the same in NG3 and in Razor's Edge. Wolf is one of those guys where he always feels like you can hit him and trade with him a lot more than you can the other bosses.
By the way, did you see the amount of body get thrown at me here?
Yeah, this is ridiculous. I hate this fight.
There's a lot of them, and also for some reason right now, I'll tell you what I was trying to do, because I remember I'm trying, okay, to get 2 kills with a Lunar UT and switch to the dual sword. That's what I'm trying to do right now, and I could not get a double kill for the longest time, and that kills me. I don't understand how that can happen. Where there's so many enemies around me and I'm doing ETs non-stop and I'm not hitting or killing 2 enemies. It's like out of my control.
I also forget how this fight works. Do you have to kill a certain number of Lycans, or do you have to survive for a certain amount of time?
I feel it's a set amount of time, because I genuinely think that I don't kill that much, and at some point it just stops on its own. It's trigger. Yeah. And right now it seems that it's also really similar to that part in Chapter 11 where I'm at. You know, where you have to
where you have to survive the trap.
And let the trigger, the cutscene trigger. I'm sorry, with Muramasa. It seems like it's the same thing so far, because there's instance where I took a little bit of damage, but I continued to see how long it would go on for, you know, and at some point I would not need to be at low health. Like the scene would end if you kill enough enemies or if you survive long enough. I think it mostly has to do with time more than the amount of kill, but I could be wrong though. I could be wrong.
Well, everybody can be wrong. That's the luxury, isn't it?
And here, by accident, I actually grabbed an essence, you know, and you see, I almost got here. I'm trying to... that was
scary.
A lot of close call in here, you know? A lot of
I do like that, though, when you wind path off them and it completely erases the body that you just picked up.
I mean, they're cheap. I gotta have my cheap thing to counter that, you know?
Well, if they're gonna pull a body out their ass, you're gonna shove it back in.
Right? I mean, that's the hiding spot. So
it has to be.
double kill, and then
most profits singers hidden pocket.
So now I think it's almost done. I think we're getting to the end of this. And you see, I was about to switch weapon, and I was like, "What the hell is happening?"
This is him. He's turning his cheats on, guys.
And
he took damage then, actually, so he edited it out.
So again, that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoy Chapter 6, and now I will let Chris conclude the video.
Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed the project and the Herculean effort that it took to make these videos. And as always, you take care now.